Claude Code is really great, but our team has started using it for everything. Anthropic noticed this, and a while back they introduced the concept of skills. But with the release of Nano Banana Pro, people started going a different direction entirely, using Google products like Anti-Gravity to build better sites. We tried Anti-Gravity, but in our opinion it is too broken right now. We know the people that like Anti-Gravity will be at our throats, but this is a topic for another video. But the images it generates are free, so we thought, why not have Claude handle the coding and Anti-Gravity handle just the images? But here's the thing, for these different use cases, you shouldn't be reprompting Claude every single time. You should train it and make a dedicated skill. So Claude recently released a guide on how skills are actually supposed to be built, and the most important part is testing and iteration. And honestly, the guide really changed the way that we think about these skills. You might have already heard about the Skill Creator. It's Claude Code's official skill that provides you guidance for creating effective skills. But one of our team members found that it's still outdated according to the new guide that we've published. So we had it updated, and it changed a lot of things according to the new guidelines and made really nice improvements. Using this updated Skill Creator and a lot of painful iteration, we've made this new Nano Banana UI skill. But the skill we started with and the skill we ended up with were two completely different things. Both of these skills would be available in AI Labs Pro. For those who don't know, it's our recently launched community where you get ready-to-use templates that you can plug directly into your projects for this video and all previous ones. If you found value in what we do and want to support the channel, this is the best way to do it. The link's in the description. We already had the coordination process between Claude Code and Anti-Gravity figured out. So we opened up the same directory in Claude Code and in Anti-Gravity as well. Claude initialized the project, and all Anti-Gravity needed to care about was this public folder, which would have all the images inside it. Claude was going to give us the prompts and the file names for the images that Anti-Gravity needed to produce. Those prompts went into Anti-Gravity. It fired up its image generation tool, and using parallel processing, it generated multiple images at the same time. You can see that it generated 3 images, and all 3 of them were placed in this images folder. After they were placed, Claude automatically knew that they were there and could easily work with them. But the moment we started actually generating images, multiple things started breaking. Now, you've probably already heard this a lot of times, but description engineering is one of the most important things when building out these repeated workflows. These descriptions are the YAML front matter that are always loaded into Claude Code's context when you open them up. And this is how Claude actually decides whether it needs to load your skill or not. But a lot of users have reported skills loading into context when they're not needed. And that's because most descriptions only say what the skill does. A good description actually answers 2 questions. What does the skill do? And when should Claude use it? This is where trigger phrases come in. They're the things that actually call for the skill to be used, like build a landing page or when we mention Nano Banana. But it's not just about when to use it. The guide also mentions negative triggers, which tell Claude when it shouldn't use the skill. For example, we're defining that it shouldn't load for simple bug fixes or database work. So the difference between a good description and a bad one is clear. You can see this skill from the new Skill Creator has multiple trigger phrases and negative triggers, whereas this one from the old Skill Creator just describes what the skill does. There's also instructions that are purely quantitative and related to syntax, but you don't need to know about those. Also, if you are enjoying our content, consider pressing the hype button because it helps us create more content like this and reach out to more people. Now, normally, while generating different images, most of them had to be different dimensions because they needed to be fitted or used for different use cases. And that was what the prompt specified before we made the changes. But what happened every time was that whenever we tried to use these custom dimensions, the image generation tool in Anti-Gravity only generated square images. Normally, this isn't a problem with the simple model that's in the Gemini app or in Google AI Studio, but here we had to change the process and modify the skill accordingly. It was referenced throughout the skill.md in the appropriate stages, and it was also referenced inside the prompting rules that whenever it should write a prompt, it shouldn't specify any dimensions or aspect ratio because it didn't really matter. And if it did need to crop the image for a specific use, it should do that later on with its crop image tool. And this is why the scripts folder is really important. It hosts these executable tools that Claude can call with specific arguments, and you discover these tools according to your different use cases. Now, a good script actually has these CLI arguments with different modes so that Claude can call it easily. And one thing that one of us discovered was very much needed is preview modes as well, which help Claude preview the output before actually doing some destructive operations. Now, let's take a break to talk about today's sponsor. After this, we're going to look at the one structural mistake that most most people make when building their skills. Cream. For developers and SaaS founders, the biggest headache isn't building, it's the nightmare of global taxes and VAT compliance. Cream is a merchant of record that handles this burden entirely, letting you focus on development. Built for the next wave of digital business, Cream offers a lightning fast setup to accept payments in 100 plus countries on day one. They've eliminated the confusion of hidden fees, offering a transparent flat rate of 3.9% plus 40 cents. That is it. Same rate whether the customer is in Tokyo or Texas, American Express or Google Pay. You get powerful features like automated revenue splits to ensure a smooth launch, always use their isolated test mode, and the dedicated TypeScript SDK. Plus, Cream offers official AI agent skills for Claude Code, Cursor, and Windsurf. Just tell your AI assistant to integrate Cream, and it'll instantly generate production-ready, secure code based on their latest API best practices. Just remember, never commit your API keys to version control. If you're ready for a payment stack, click the link in the pinned comment. Stop worrying about taxes and start scaling with Cream.io. You might have already heard us talking about progressive disclosure in many of our previous videos because it's not only related to skills, but it's also very important for the context window. This means that the agent should only know about something if it needs it at that time. You already know that the description is always loaded inside Claude Code's context. And this is how these skills use a three-level structure where the first level is always inside Claude's context. Then the second level is the body of the skill.md, and it should have references to level 3, including the full workflow and instructions on how to use the references. And within that structure, the official guide defines something called the critical section. You should list the most important information right there at the front and not have it hidden beneath all these different instructions. You can clearly see that this skill only has the skill.md and doesn't have the level 3 structure. This is because all of the workflow, the tips, the different recommendations, and troubleshooting guidelines are placed inside a single file. This isn't how it should be structured because it might not need these guidelines at the present moment. It should only load the workflow first and then pull in the prompting rules only when it's time to write or use them. Now, on the other hand, this skill is clearly structured with references and the different scripts that it needs. And along with the workflow, the file clearly has triggers for when to run each script and when to check the references for the different guidelines. So in the skill.md, it only has the workflow for the Nano Banana skill. And after that, in the references section, it has the different guidelines where the prompting rules contain the 13 different tester rules that we found after our iteration testing. But even with all of this structure, Claude Code still found ways to skip steps. After it had generated the first batch of images, they were bound to need regenerations because Nano Banana doesn't always generate the most accurate output. The surprising thing is that Claude didn't verify this by itself. We had to ask it whether the images were good according to the design that it wanted to make. Otherwise, it would have just gone ahead and implemented the ones that it produced. Now again, this is why we said that iteration is the biggest thing in building these skills. Now we already had a step for validating assets, which used the validate images script, but that only validated whether the images were good structurally, not whether the images were aesthetically correct. It didn't have anything to do with the aesthetics. For the aesthetics, Claude had to do a visual review by itself, where it would look at these questions and decide whether the image would pass or fail. And if it did fail, it needed to provide a reason as well. This is because if the image did fail a visual review, it needed to delete that image, then write a new corrected prompt. And depending on which mode you were in, if you were in anti-gravity mode, it would give you a new prompt, including the reason why the previous one failed so that anti-gravity could generate new and better images. And therefore, this is why anti-gravity is saying that it has regenerated the glass image and that this time it follows the requirements. This is why if you're building a workflow, it's really important to have these validation gates. Validation gates are explicit blockers that define the thing that should be completed before it can move on to the next part of the workflow. And as you saw, if it's up to Claude, it'll happily build UI around missing or corrupted images and won't even verify anything unless you tell it to. So for example, in this skill, you can clearly see that the workflow has these multiple steps that it needs to follow. And among the other mistakes, it hasn't really written any validation gate before moving on to the next step. Now, these validation gates are still prompts. It's not like there are some magical bash commands. But if it has to be reused every single time and there is no variation in it, you should actually make a tool and list that tool as the validation gate. But in this case, among the multiple steps, we have these validation gates that not only help stop it from moving from one part of the process to the other, but also form a mini process inside each workflow as well. As you're experimenting and iterating with your process over and over again, you'll find that you do run into a lot of errors, some of which which you've already seen. For example, missing or corrupt images, partial API outputs, or scripts exiting due to a partial failure. And throughout that, as you're iterating on the skill, a good skill creator should note the error handling for each of these and define them clearly, because if it's already happened once, it can happen again. And it should be handled in this format. Define the error, then the cause so that Claude knows, and then the steps to actually fix the problem. Again, when we tell it to build a landing page, it just loads in the skill and reads your files. If you already have a Next.js project, it detects that and asks you questions like what the landing page is for and whether you would like AI generated images or not. If you say that you don't want them, it just uses its front-end resources to build the landing page. This is because while we were building it, we also asked Claude to go ahead and finish this front-end design skill, which has plenty of amazing guidelines for actually implementing really good-looking sites. And after we were done with the whole experimentation, this is what it actually generated for us. So you can see that this is the image we had generated, and it has this subtle animation effect on it. Other than that, it's a really clean-looking landing page, and the images aren't really overdone. They're only applied in places where they were actually needed. But when it was first generated, there were problems with the font that it was using. It just wasn't working well. So we went ahead and got this specific typography font that they experimented with, and this is what actually fixed the typography problems for us. So again, we're just recruiting different resources that aren't even related to this Nano Banana design skill, and we're putting them in there so that it has those capabilities where it needs them. In progressive disclosure, we already discussed the additional files with references and scripts. Now we're diving deep into references, their domain-specific intelligence. And while your skill is all ready for one specific domain, it can have these small multiple knowledge packets as separate components as well. For example, in these references, we've listed design patterns, front-end aesthetics, and prompting rules. In this way, we can keep on expanding the skill's knowledge base without polluting the context window. Up till now, all the advice you've seen tells you how to train Claude to do tasks in a better way, but it doesn't tell you how to actually use it properly. For that, we have another video where we show you the 10 most updated ways to gain an advantage with Claude Code. You're going to see the video on the end screen, so you might as well click that instead of searching it up. That brings us to the end of this video. If you'd like to support the channel and help us keep making videos like this, you can do so by using the super thanks button below. As always, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.